Showed us how they heated their homes with that stuff, how they dug it out of the earth, special tools for it. Really, I learned a ton.
Welcome to the Tuesday. Are we on? Here we go. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 21st, 2015 meeting of the Hot Springs Board of Directors. Tonight, our invocation will be given by Pastor David Fleming, to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand with me?
Let us pray. Dear God, we ask your blessings for our city and for our nation, for its leaders and advisors, for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Help our leaders to gain insight through your wisdom, that they may administer all affairs of our city with equity, so that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may prevail. Creator of all people, bless the citizens of our city and those who visit here with your Spirit, so that peoples of all ages and races and creeds will form a common bond of true harmony, so that we may banish all hatred and bigotry and safeguard the ideals and freedom of institutions which are our country's pride and glory. May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all humanity in peace and freedom. Guide the words that we say tonight and all that we do in days to come, that we may truly grow in love for you and for our neighbor, even as we love ourselves. We ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Call this meeting to order. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Davidson.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Ramick.
Here.
Folly.
Here.
Carney.
Here. We are all here. Welcome back, Mr. Foley.
Thank you.
You took a long journey. You want to tell us
did.
where you went?
We started out in near Frankfurt at Ramstein. My son-in-law was promoted to colonel. Next day we flew out to Edinburgh, Scotland, where we spent about 3 days. Then we flew into Dublin and spent the next 6 or 7 days in Ireland, just going through the country, taking in all the beer and the whiskey
And the
classes. You know, food was wonderful.
We're glad you staggered home.
Had a great time, and then we went to the Netherlands for the Keukenhof Festival of Tulips, which was very nice.
Wow.
It was very nice.
Okay.
So we enjoyed ourselves.
We're surprised you came back.
And I got a souvenir.
Yeah, did you?
All right.
Wear it, okay, the whole time. That's cool. Okay, well, welcome back. The first item of business is to consider the approval of the agenda. Are there any corrections, deletions, or modifications to the agenda, including any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Mayor, with your permission, I'd like to address agenda item number 21, first item under new business. One of the items under the assets that were to be received by the city, there are some administrative issues that need to be adjusted there, so we would ask that agenda item 21 be removed from your agenda. If you could entertain a motion and a second for that.
I'll entertain a motion to remove item 21.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Okay, it is removed. Do we have any other adjustments for the agenda? Okay, hearing none. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. And all opposed, would you please indicate by saying aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Okay, thank you. It is approved. The next item of business is to consider the approval of the minutes of the board meeting which was held on April the 7th. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions, or modifications to the minutes?
Madam Chairman, I would move for approval of the minutes.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, it is adopted. In an effort to afford everyone an equal and orderly opportunity to address the items on tonight's agenda, we ask that we want to remind our citizens and our guests that we adhere to a 3-minute limit on your comments. And for your convenience, we will display a clock timer on the monitors above. We may not have anybody signed up for anything, do we?
You do not for the
Not for the agenda? Okay. Out of respect for all of us, we ask that you honor the request. And while members of the board may have questions of the speakers, I ask that any general comments be reserved till the speakers have been heard. We also ask that you would silence your cell phones and please leave them silent during the meeting and refrain from any conversations or disruptions. If you need to leave before we're finished, we ask that you do so quietly without talking to your neighbor, and we would really appreciate that. And we want to thank all of you for being here tonight. It's just, it's always a great honor to see all those who come out. We are missing quite a few, but I don't blame them. They can stay home on a chilly night. We got the weather back, didn't we? So thank you for coming. We appreciate you. At this time, we have some guests to be recognized. We have the proclamation for the National Arbor Day, Three City USA flag presentation. And I have a proclamation to read for that.
Fred
Ready?
Padilla
Yeah.
is here.
Would you please come up and just hang out right there while I read all these whereases? And then we will have the flag. Whereas National Arbor Day is observed throughout the nation and the world on the birthday of J. Sterling Morton, who proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture in 1872 that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clear the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees are in all areas increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, beautify our community, and are a source of joy and spiritual renewal to many. And whereas recognizing the importance of the vital role trees play in our ecosystem, Hot Springs, Arkansas continues the observance of Arbor Day on the third Monday in each March of each year. Now, therefore, I, Ruth Carney, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, Arkansas, do proclaim April 24th, 2015 as National Arbor Day in Hot Springs, Arkansas. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed on this 21st day of April in the year of our Lord, 2015. And Freddie Padilla has come. He works with trees all the time. He's our,
Urban forestry.
I know, but I was going to tell him that he said that you're not our real urban forester, but I think he's our real urban forester. We have one. He's doing well. I got mine too, thanks.
You can.
What time are they going to be planting trees? Is it Friday?
Bill,
School will start at 8:30.
Tree City, USA.
We got how many kids coming? Over 500.
Oh, great.
Nope, you had it, nope,
Thank you.
turn it back around.
Turn that.
Oh, okay.
That was quick.
Oh, yeah.
It's our 15th year. 15th year, and we've won the Tree City Award every year? For 15 years. For 15 years. This is awesome.
Wow.
And if you don't have anything to do on Friday, please go out and meet the kids and plant a tree.
Where does that flag fly?
Good job, Freddie.
downtown Hot Springs at the Majestic Triangles.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Appreciate all of you that have to do with that. The Parks and Recreation guys are always out there. We appreciate them. And thanks for making that happen. We have a proclamation for the historic preservation, and I don't think we have anyone here to take this, so I will give it to Lance. But I will read it. Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth, revitalization, neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as people. And whereas we celebrate each May as National Preservation Month and Arkansas Heritage Month, co-sponsored by the City of Hot Springs, the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, the Department of Arkansas Heritage, and the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Now, therefore, I, Ruth Carney, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2015 as National Preservation Month and Arkansas Heritage Month in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and call upon the people to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in this special observance, in witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed on the 21st day of April in the year of our Lord, 2015, Ruth Carney, Mayor. And that's a nice proclamation. And this is going to the state. It will be among all of the other, I think it's all the other cities of the state, and it will be in their offices in Little Rock. They wanted us to send them that, so there you go.
Deal.
Yes, and also we didn't do a proclamation today on Child Abuse Awareness Month, but this is the month of Child Abuse Awareness, and there was a really special presentation and program. The governor's wife spoke, and we had all of our police and the sheriffs and all the ad litems and judges and people that work with the children in the Department of Human Services, and it was at the Cooper Anthony Child Advocacy Center, and it was really a special day. It was in the middle of all the rain, and all the sun came out, and it was a beautiful day, and the children all place windmills out front on the lawn to represent all the children that have come through the Advocacy Center and have been abused. So it was a really neat day, and this is Child Abuse Awareness Month. Now we didn't have the kids in the park. That's another one. Kids go out to play in the park. There's another proclamation I signed today, and it'll probably be next time. So we will now hear our city manager's report.
Well, last week we had an unusual event, but maybe not so unusual in local government. We had 6 buffalo get loose in south part of town. Quite an amazing day. But I did want to publicly thank the city employees who were involved in eventually corralling 3 of the animals. Our police department, our animal control officers, led by Dan Bugg, our public works department. Our PIO was on the scene because we had a lot of media on that scene. We had a helicopter overhead. We had a live feed from Channel 11. Reporters were there. So it's real important to get the message out. Our PIO at the police department, I thought, did an excellent job on the scene. We were able to call in the veterinarian from the Little Rock Zoo who basically dropped everything and drove down to Hot Springs. One thing that we were running out of was the tranquilizer serum that you need to take down an animal of that size. We typically use that on 100-pound dogs, not 2,000-pound buffaloes. And so I want to thank the Little Rock Zoo for helping us. Sarah Klein is the vet there. I want to thank the City of Benton Animal Control. They came down immediately after we contacted them. They had a little bit higher powered CO2-based 22 that could actually propel the dart deeper into the skin than what we had. And so it was a true team effort. And I also want to thank and recognize the residents. You know, what could have been just bedlam, quite frankly, the neighbors that we dealt with up on Roberts Ridge, and that basic area, Melissa, Deanwood, all the way over to Ridgeway, really were just very helpful. I mean, they were bringing water out to the employees. It was a very hot day. And I want to thank the neighbors for being very understanding and, helpful. And I think all in all, it had about the best ending that it could have. We also had help from Sheriff Deputy Fred Hawthorne and some other volunteers who had dealt with herding cows, which came in handy. Secondly, seeing our pastor, Pastor Fleming, I want to thank you for hosting the Quapaw Prospect Neighborhood Meeting. Director Clark convened this. I would call it our second annual Quapaw Prospect meeting. We had a great turnout. I had representatives from every department and also City Attorney Ryan Albright. And we had a lot of great positive feedback from the audience, all kinds of questions about fire codes and property codes and police issues. And I would say that community is kind of the model for what I hope all neighborhoods can be, which is engaged. They're very engaged. And so, if you have an opportunity in your neighborhoods, I know PACA had a meeting last night. We had, I believe, Tom Broughton, our fire marshal, was up at the Park Avenue Association, which is also very active. Mm-hmm. And we've met with the Gateway neighborhood several weeks ago, which is also very active. So I think that community engagement between the citizens and the public servants working as a team to accomplish quality of life and the goals of the community is paramount to moving Hot Springs to where we want it to be. And finally, Hot Springs has moved up to number 2 in the My Water.pledge campaign that Mayor Carney, Judge Davis, the two respective bodies are pushing. I would highly encourage people who have access to a computer to go to mywaterpledge.com. There's a simple survey, gives you options of what would you be willing to do on your own to accomplish some water conservation, plus some environmentally being a good steward type efforts. And they will calculate how many gallons of water that you could conceivably save over the course of a year. And those numbers are tallied, and that's how they come up with the relative rankings. So we're number 2. It'd be nice to finish number 1 in the entire country. So just remember mywaterpledge.com. Take the survey, put down what you as an individual can do to conserve water, protect the environment, and we'll hopefully make number 1.
That was my announcement.
Oh, well, you can expand on
That's
it.
okay. The mayor's challenge for water conservation. It really is exciting. And if you've seen the billboards that are up all over town, we have 3 of those up. We've come all the way up from number 13 And that's really great in cities of our size, population-wise. And there's a new car waiting to be driven home by somebody, and they have prizes every day they give away. So if you click on there, yes, you would like to join the giveaways, and then if you put in your code number and get a friend to do it, you get the same prize. If they win a prize, you get the same prize. So it's really worth it to get your friends and neighbors. I've been bugging my kids, everybody I see. I send in emails. Please click on mywaterpledge.com. It ends April 30th. That's just a few more days. So if you know someone that hasn't gone online to pledge, mywaterpledge.com, ask them to please do so. It really does make a difference. I think I'm saving 69, almost 70,000 gallons of water, and that's going to save money for everybody. And also, our city is eligible for a free Pocket Park landscape makeover that includes some very conservation style irrigation. So I'm really excited about that. I would like to have that in my neighborhood. We can talk to Gene and maybe get a park over in my neighborhood. Maybe, you think?
No problem.
With the buffalo, now
I was
that
going
they're
to say,
gone.
right where the buffalo used to roam.
Yeah, where the buffalo roamed.
Bison Park.
Yeah, and there are 2 of them still out. So be on lookout for those 2 buffalo. We really would. I know my neighbor is out there looking from early morning to late at night every night. He's not giving up till he finds the 2 last buffalo. So let's help him out on that. If you want to just wander around in the woods, go look for buffalo. And yes.
I forgot to ask Mr. Watkins to say something
Yeah.
about the Majestic. I've had hundreds of questions.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything you can tell us, tell the public that would kind of satisfy somebody's mind?
That
Well, I don't know if it will satisfy them, but we had that question come up at the Quapaw Prospect meeting. I don't think there's any question that the community sentiment in that meeting was do whatever you have to, not only with that building, but with others that are dangerous. I thought Lance and Brian gave a very good answer, and I'm not an attorney, so I don't want to preempt Brian, but I would say that our strategy with the Majestic, since it's not owned by the city, it's owned by a private individual who's shirking his responsibility, we're going to be citing him and have been for violations of our ordinance. And Brian, you might expand on what that actually means.
Sure. There have been several convictions already against Mr. Hassenplu on that property. Others are pending. And even as recent as yesterday, there was another inspection of the building. And literally, hundreds of violations currently exist. I spoke with the owner's attorney this afternoon. He has been asked by ADEQ to meet more on a one-on-one basis with them. I think that they are looking at their ability to hopefully ratchet up their stance on the issue. Up to this point, it was a voluntary timetable that was involved, and he failed to meet the timetable that was presented as part of that voluntary agreement, so I think they're going to be taking some more steps. But in the meantime, we still have a problem. And so with respect to these convictions, yes, there are fines associated with that, and that's all well and good, but that doesn't change the circumstances as they exist. So at some point, the board has condemned the property, and which means it needs to be demolished or rehabbed. It doesn't look to me as though it's capable of being rehabbed. So at some point, we will have to make a decision as to whether or not to go forward with demolition or to sue him civilly in order to abate this nuisance. Our options in that area are few, but they are viable options. And I hope that you will respect the fact that I don't give away litigation strategies. So I will keep that to myself for now.
Okay.
That's all right.
Okay,
Thank you.
And I was just wondering, Lance, do we still have boards and commissions open?
We do. We certainly do. I believe there is currently 15, 17 boards and commission opening. So if they go to the CDHS website, you can go to the city clerk tab or the boards and commissions tab, and there is all the information is there.
Get involved, please. Okay, do we have announcements concerning upcoming events? Yes, sir.
I don't know if this was by accident or design. The agenda does not identify what church Reverend Fleming is pastor of, nor did the city manager indicate in giving his thanks what church he is pastor of.
And it's your church,
Grand
right?
Avenue United Methodist Church. It is my church. That's where I remember. And Reverend Fleming, I promise tonight that I will be on my best behavior.
He's going to try.
And the other thing, since it's, and I don't know if anybody was going to announce this, but according to my calendar, tomorrow is Earth Day, which this is the 45th anniversary of Earth Day, which was the architect of Earth Day was the late Senator Gaylord Nelson of Wisconsin. And so I plan to observe Earth Day tomorrow by availing myself of the city's recycling facilities.
You're of what?
Availing myself of the city's recycling facilities.
So you're going to put stuff in.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You know, if you want me to get specific about what I'm putting in.
I just wondered if you were going to
I have
hang out
several
there.
items. I thought that's how I could best commemorate the day. Actually, I participated in the first Earth Day by walking to school. That was one of the things they encouraged you to do. And I'll never forget, 2 or 3 times, my fellow students would stop and say, "Hey, Larry, you want to ride home?" "No, I'm walking today because it's Earth Day." Anyway, I actually observed the first one, helped observe the first one. So,
That's cool. You want to tell us what year that was?
yes.
No.
1970. I was a senior at Malvern High School.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Those of you who do math. All right. Any further announcements? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that was my first year to teach, 1970.
Uh-oh.
It's been on the screen, but the spring cleanup is April 25th and 26th. And in the Park Avenue area, there's always a big dumpster at Dell. It was announced at the PACA meeting last night, and how efficient the city is at picking it up, bringing us an empty one, and for everybody how to do it. Also, the household hazardous waste collection is May 9th, and that's at the county fairgrounds. Summerfest, Park Avenue, is May 9th, 2015, and it is a barbecue cook-off. I think they already have 20 teams. Wow. If you think your barbecue is up to snuff and you want to compete, get a hold of Hannah at Hot Springy Dingy. Our barbecue extraordinaire expert, Dr. Randy Hill, is going to be the primary judge. I think there's going to be other judges. If you haven't heard, the Poets Roundtable, which is having its 26th year, has changed its meeting place, and it will no longer be at Maxine's. It's now going to be at the brand new Collective Coffee House down in the 100 block of Central. And if you haven't been, it is really, really nice. I think Director Clark had mentioned she'd been in there, and at the back wall it has glass, so you can see the rock, and the mountain. But it's very nice. You should go down, and Mr. Broughton commended that. He mentioned last night in the meeting about the new remodeling, the new work, the new construction and revitalization that is going on downtown. He said it looks really good. And he mentioned this one about how nice it looks. Also, Arts in the Park, May 1 through 10. We're down to a meeting a week on it, and it's going to be really, really great. There's something for everybody, children, all ages, and the schedules are in the paper all the time now, so we're getting a lot of publicity. Thank you.
Did I see a hand over here a few minutes ago?
May 9th.
No upcoming events.
I'm going to barbecue. I'm going to cook.
Oh,
you are?
Okay, good.
Cool.
Any other announcements of upcoming events? Okay, we will continue. The next item of business is the consideration of the consent agenda. Items in this section are of a routine nature and will be considered as one item of business without discussion. I will now entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you please call the roll?
Yes. Davidson,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Ramick,
Aye.
Folly,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye. It is adopted. The next item of business is to consider resolution number R1560. Council, would you please?
Drop down one.
Oh, we skipped that one, didn't we? We took that one out. All right. R1561. Council, would you please read the resolution by title?
Resolution R 1561, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Cooper Creek Water Improvement District Number 57 and accepting certain water improvements. That includes your reading, Mayor. If you now entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
And discussion would be Mr. Carnahan.
Thank you very much. In 2002, Cooper Creek Water Improvement District Number 57 was presented to the city board and with a request to extend water facilities to about 285 acres of land that included 332 different property owners. This is located about 10 miles from here. If you go out Carpenter Dam Road to Red Oak Junction and then go east on Highway 290 toward Diamond Head, about halfway there, you can turn off into this Cooper Creek area, which loops back down to Lake Catherine in what was called the Thunderbird area, I've learned. So, of Lake Catherine. But they built a water system that cost, in 2003, $262,535 and about $32,000 worth of engineering expense. And the improvement district obtained a loan to pay for that and then created a tax district. And over time, those property owners have been paying that off, and now it has been paid off. The debt's been cleared, and they would like to, let's see, what's the right word, eliminate the district and formally dedicate the pipelines to the city for ownership and maintenance going forward. So that's our request tonight, is that the city would accept this agreement with the Cooper Creek Water Improvement District Number 57 to accept their facilities into our system.
Okay.
So, any questions?
We don't have anyone signed up, do we? Okay. Any questions for Mr. Carnahan? Okay. No discussion. Thank you.
All right,
And
thank you.
hearing none, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Jones,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Ramick,
Aye.
Folly,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Carney.
Aye.
It's adopted.
It is adopted. Wow. That is our last item of business. Are there any comments? Anybody? Yes, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to acknowledge one of our city employees. The city has a TV inspection truck, and what this truck does, it has a little device, a little car thing on wheels that can go down the sewer lines and inspect the sewer lines. Well, there was a problem with it, a failure with the integration between the observation equipment software and onboard PC. They talked to the vendor where they bought the equipment. It's going to cost $6,000 to repair. But our employee, Daniel Keller, asked if he could take a look at it, and Daniel repaired the system in less than 30 minutes for $0. So I really want to acknowledge him and thank him for his efforts.
And be sure to keep him.
Yeah.
Don't let him go. That's awesome. Is he here? No? Daniel?
Pass it on to him.
That really is. Any other, yes?
If you've driven up Park Avenue, we have lots of sidewalk construction going on, and you're right. District 2, Mr. Carnahan, those people work very quickly, and they were out there in some bad weather the other day. They're doing a tremendous job, and we thank you for all your efforts and all the work that you did in meeting with families, business owners, and everyone up and down Park Avenue. Thanks so much. Looks great.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I might add that I attended the Arkansas Municipal League hosted a education workshop today on planning and zoning education. I received 5 hours credit for going. I noted that 3 members of our planning commission also attended. What was a very interesting workshop, and Hot Springs was mentioned. Patricia Blick with the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program in her presentation talked about, of course she mentioned the Majestic and showed pictures, but also talked about the thermal basin project and how we were going about that. It's as a suggestion perhaps for others to follow, and also show pictures of some of our legacy buildings. So we were featured in that presentation.
Oh, okay. Okay, and also it was an awesome day on Saturday. The jail grand opening, ribbon cutting, and it is an incredible building, and I'm so excited that everybody gets to go and stay there and not hang out on the streets anymore. So this is going to be a really, hopefully, will be a change for our community for the better. And the person who spoke was Larry Brown, which is Adam Brown's dad, and it could not have been better. He was absolutely perfect. And the thing that he emphasized was that going to jail can be a life-changing experience, and for his son, it was what turned him around. So it can be a place that people go and then they don't learn their lesson, they go back, and then they go back. But for some people, that's the place where life takes on new meaning. And he talked about that perspective of how it really, literally does change lives, and changes the focus of a lot of people. And I think with the new jail, too, they're going to have programs, they're going to have GED opportunities, and a lot of classes that there's just no place to have in the old jail. And so, really exciting. It was a great day. Leslie Rutledge, the Attorney General, spoke, and it was an opportunity to see some incredible facilities. I think maybe all of you have seen them already, but if you haven't, it's still open for, they'll give you a tour. So, great job. Saturday.
I moved that we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
Yes.
Immediately following our meeting, we will have just a few minutes pause, and we'll have public comment section. So thank you again. I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.